how did the specimens get here?
Right. It can be a logistical challenge. Mainly it's by a local courier. They're certified to handle biological samples.
Sarah Vetter manages the infectious disease lab at the Minnesota Department of Health. We visited their space in downtown St. Paul today, where they test all kinds of diseases.
From measles to influenza.
To rabies, to norovirus.
And now novel coronavirus. The samples we can test are upper respiratory and lower respiratory samples. This can be like a nose swab, a throat swab. It's a sputum, which is basically the gunk, that gunk you cough up when you have that really bad cough.
In this first lab, someone double checks the sample and preps it for the test.
We don't know that much about this new coronavirus. So how careful do you need to be?
You're right. So we don't know a lot about this virus, but we know a lot about other respiratory viruses. We're using that information to treat it like a lot of the other respiratory viruses we see.
Which means a secure lab with biosafety cabinets.
Which is what we're standing next to.
Lab coats, goggles.
So if we were touching the sample, we'd be wearing gloves.
And lots of hand washing.
Good laboratory practice is to wash our hands when we leave the laboratory.
Even though we're going from one lab to the other?
And even if you didn't touch anything.
Definitely gonna follow your advice.
We move to a second lab where they extract what they need to test.
The virus is living in their respiratory cells, so we have to burst open those cells.
The virus is so small, though, they have to replicate it.
This is where we amplify?
Correct.
To be able to see if it exists.
Yes, this is the thermocycler.
That takes about an hour and a half.
So this is the aha room.
Correct.
Where you could be the one that discovers here's our first case in Minnesota.
Yes.
Then what happens?
Then the results get reported out.
What happens to the actual specimen?
The actual specimen gets tossed.
After it's sterilized.
Correct. We never throw just anything in the trash here.
In St. Paul, Heather Brown, WCCO 4 News.